Hello for the humans and welcome to this video, and today I'll be talking about the tank that pretty much made this channel slightly relevant, the KV-2. Well, obviously the KV-2 is the absolute godfather of Derp in the game. However, it's not the newest Derp anymore. It has a son, which is just about 150 times better at this point, but can the old man still compete? Let's find that out today. Obviously, you take the 152mm M10 gun because the alpha damage, and obviously standard consumables, provisions, ammo. You just load that up, equipment like that. That's how I have it. You kind of need this because 0.48 dispersion. That's one of the big downsides of this tank. So let's see it in action, and afterwards let's look at Blitz does a little bit and find out how it compares to other vehicles. But let's first see it in action. This is a tier 7 battle on Mirage. We can't really one-shot anyone besides maybe the Dicamax or the VK28 side, so this is going to be a very tough game. Maybe the T20, but we can't one-shot him. Now, I'm loading into the game right here, as with the wonderful German internet that I have, there is a Smasher on my team, which means that my effectiveness is about 0. Because while it is still definitely an okay tank, Smasher just outshines it in everything. Sweet Jesus, the Smash is overpowered. Okay, there's a Tiger 1. I don't want to fight off with him because the KV-2 has the lowest hit points of pretty much all the tier 6 heavy tanks and also has basically no armor. And the Grave N-word is trying to focus me, isn't he? No, he's going for the Smash. Okay. Now the Tiger have already hit me twice, but he's already pretty much dead, so we don't really have to worry about him a lot. But the thing is, the KV-2, it can dish out a lot of punishment, but it can't really take any. Sure, it is a heavy tank, but it doesn't even have 1000 HP. The Dicamax has more HP than me, and he just hit me. And also the gun, at, for example, that range, you can't really hit anything properly, because the accuracy is just absolutely horrible. Then again, if you do hit, you can do a lot of damage. Now let's see, can we hold this ridge again? Maybe we can get a shot into the T20 if he peeks up, but I'm not too confident with that. I have a 20 seconds reload now, but you gotta look, this tank is not the best in the game, and the shell velocity is also very horrible. This tank can be great if you hit. If you don't, you're fucked. Now, it's probably pretty... I mean, I wouldn't ever recommend taking this position when you're in this low HP, because everyone can shoot at you, but I don't really care. So, we can see that the T20 is stock, and he's now trying to pull back. He's going forward. And there we go. We got a kill. Okay, now we got the Dicamax alive over there, fighting with the T43. And I think it might be a good idea to try and help him over there, because now I pretty much can one-shot the Dicamax. So let's try and help him. If the Eraser doesn't decide to peek on me, which he probably will. Okay, the Dicamax is on 700. Let's try and find out if we can peek this guy. Oh, he has gun impression. Fuck! We missed. Okay. Put in the reload booster and let's very, very quickly get over here so we can get away from the Eraser. Okay, he's dead. Smasher just deleted the Eraser. Because the Smasher has very, very good accuracy and stuff like that, which this thing doesn't. Yep, it does not have good accuracy at all. The aim time's horrible, the reload's horrible. The EPM's pretty horrible too. And what does this tank have going for itself? Well, it's the worst Smasher. And that's what it got. And it got alpha damage. Just like a WoT 83 though, that's not really what you want. I did hit him, but it did not do enough damage. That's me in an SU-100 against an enemy SU-100, Dicamax, and the Grave N-word. Okay. Now, we saw him go over here. He's trying to push forward. But the thing is, I can just one-shot him if he tries to peek around. The SU-100 is probably gonna die because he's getting fucked by 2 people. Also, this tank does have very horrible gun depression, so as also, if you hit the gun, can't really do much. So this tank is not really up to code anymore at all. Well, And obviously we also had the very average team of the P43 and the Smasher crying and fighting each other the entire time, which is reasonable and nothing new. But then again, the Smasher still did top damage, so there you can see how good that vehicle is now. Now, we're in a very favorable match right here. It's a tier 5 battle. We can one-shot the Panzer IV, the P43, the Chaffee, and the Hellcat, and probably also the Wolverine. So this is a very, very favorable match for the KV-2. The last one wasn't, because the KV-2, as I said, it's bad at long range, because you don't really have a lot of accuracy, or aim time, or anything of that sort. And it's bad at close range, because you don't have a lot of armor and not a lot of hit points. So where does this tank work well? Well, that's the question, because you should put this thing on sort of the second line, you know, like behind your VK-36s, behind your erasers, but not out with the field with the medium tanks. As you can already see in this team, they're fucking idiots! But then again, it's tier 5, so you can understand that. Map control is absolutely everything. If you don't take map control, you can fuck off. You can't win. Now, we got the Hellcat over there. He doesn't have a lot of armor. Also, he doesn't have a clan, so I suspect that he won't be the best of players. Or that he's a loner. Okay, now obviously you can already see the enemy just took the field, and they have the immediate advantage right there. They have the immediate advantage, so the best we can do is now try and push forward, but that's the point. Like, if I try to go back, I'm gonna get a shot in the ass. If I try and go forward, I'm gonna get a shot in the face. This is not good at all. Team is just camping back. Okay, now what can I do here? The eraser is coming up. That's a problem because I can't pen him. I can't do a lot of damage to him. That's 155. This vehicle is not really up to code anymore. Sure, it is great when you can hit an HE shell. But how often does that happen? Once every third or fourth game, maybe? Possibly. Where you can, like, really do a full HE roll. It doesn't happen too often, does it? So, while it might still be a very decent tank, and nothing to scoff at, and it can also be played with the pencil gun, and you can achieve shots like that, as you can just see right there, 901 damage into the side of the eraser. Things like that can be achieved without a problem, but then again, I would still prefer an eraser or even just straight up an ARL, or even tanks like a Hellcat or VK-28, because simply their guns are a lot more reliable, and you can just work with them a lot better. Well, despite the lag, I managed to kill the Panzer IV. So the thing is, as I said 3 times already, if you hit, this tank is amazing, but you don't do that too often. Now, I think the primary target should be probably the Chaffee, because the Nightmare is keeping the rest busy. Or the Wolverine. The Amarak, the Wolverine. Now, the Chaffee and the Eraser are the main problems here, because the Nightmare's just gonna die. Like, he's just over-peaking, he's dead. Take out the Eraser. Pop the reload. Now, the Chaffee's dead, that's very nice. We have 200 HP, we don't have a lot of armor, which means we can't really contest with anyone. The T1 Heavy is on 2 kills, which means he can't be that bad of a player. But the thing is, there's the P43. Can he one-shot me? No, he can. But, well, we killed him. That's not bad. Now it's the Eraser in a 1v1 against the tier 5, so he should be able to win this, right? Spoiler alert. He didn't. But anyway, 1,800 damage. That is pretty good for a tier 5 battle in the KV-2. So you can see if you hit your HE, you can do a lot of damage. Like, 901 damage against the side of the Eraser. Not a lot of tanks can do that. But the KV-2 can, but the question still is, if you look at the FV215B 183 at tier 10, yes, it has a lot of alpha damage, but it lacks the same things than the KV-2 does. It lacks armor, it lacks mobility, it lacks hit points, and it lacks accuracy. So that's a lot of downside for one very, very tiny upside, right? Well, that upside is a giant 150mm monster, but still, in a game like this, we have been very fortunate in the last game, where we had a lot of tanks that don't have armor, a lot of tanks that are tank destroyers, and stuff like that. And another imbecile team right here. Just, if you have a tier 10, don't don't go down here. The 10 players are horrible. The 10 players are absolutely horrible. But they're still not as dumb as these people. If you don't have map control, you don't win. Which means this is very, very unlikely to win already. It's because, like, if you give up map control, you have to be the better team to regain the map control to win. But most of the time, the team that goes city isn't the better team. Which is, when your team decides to 7-man go city, you can pretty much kiss your win goodbye. Now, we're in a tier 7 match here. There's 2 targets on the enemy team, they're platooned, they probably know a little bit what they're doing. There's the Cheeto, there's a P43. There's even a Helsing, so we're not going to have a lot of chances of winning anything here. Especially, as you can see, my team is just capping the base because they're stupid. And now the enemy team went up to the hill and have pretty much the entire map control. Like, look, we have this little part here is under our control. Doesn't really help, does it? Also doesn't help when the SP1C just decides to YOLO forward and get himself killed. So this is probably not going to end well. I'm trying to hold this line because literally the only chance of ever winning this match is by capping. Because as you can see, we're completely surrounded. We're dead. This SP1C just decided to YOLO and is now dead. So there's nothing really that we can do. We can, however, one-shot that P43 for 600 damage. But now, obviously, it's a 4 versus 6. There's 2 Tigers on the enemy team. They're already in the city. The P43 is now dead by the Helsing. And we're just completely surrounded, and there's no way out. Like, don't ever go city on Middleburg. Just don't. Unless you want to lose, just don't go city on Middleburg. Try and aim for his side. 400. That was pretty sad. And now I'm dead. Well, that's 2 guards in 1. The KV-2 is very hard to play. Don't play this as a new player. It's very hard to play. It's very hard to actually do something. And never ever go into the city. Because then only 2 things happen. Your team is stupid, which is about the case in 95% of cases. And this happens where you get surrounded and you lose 1-7. Or your team is competent and it pushes out of the city while the enemy team pushes into the city, basically regaining your advantage. And then you have a chance of winning. A chance. But still, if you have idiots in your team, you can't win. Even though I did top damage. Maniac. 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 Idiot. So either way, that's it for the gameplay side of the KV-2. Now, we already seen that it lacks a lot of capabilities. Now let's prove that by looking into Blitz stars real quick. So, now we're looking here at Blitz stars, and we can already see the KV-2. It has solid DPM compared to the other tier 6 heavy tank. And if you rack that up to the HE, then you will have even better DPM, like 50% more DPM than the KV-1S. That's great. However, penetration is the lowest. Alpha damage is obviously the highest, which is the trademark of the KV-2. Shell velocity is absolutely horrible with AP and with HE, so you have to pre-aim a lot. Reload's obviously just insanely long. Then weapon handling, aim time's horrible, accuracy's horrible, dispersion's horrible. Gun depression is okay, but it's still horrible compared to the others. And the mobility is not very good. The camo's absolutely horrible because it's big and lumbering. The power to weight ratio is only 12, which is barely more than the VK, but the VK has a lot more ground resistance. And then with the armor, you don't have a lot of armor either. Like, for example, the VK30, it's very angled and a lot thicker. Same with the T150, which is now a collector's tank. So you can see by the statistics that, for example, T150 is just a lot more solid tank overall. The only thing that this KV-2 got going for itself is the alpha damage. And obviously the other only thing that this tank got going for itself is that it made my channel somewhat relevant. So I guess I have to thank this vehicle for being in this way and being weird as it is. And well, then again, I am weird too. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. There's some buttons down there. Press them if you want. Don't if you don't. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.